public speaking skills and speak like a leader. I was searching for the right place, and then I was very happy to know that Kiran has started something called as Leadership Card with another 3 amazing leaders.
Training started with a SWOT analysis on our own strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat areas.
This particular course was broken into 4 main crucial topics. First week was about the communication.
To grow your business as well as your personal brand.
Second week, time management.
Prioritizing the time by the 4-step urgency versus important quadrant.
Third week was about change management.
Why change is important.
Where we had to explain Porter's 8-step model.
Last week was about conflict management.
I can very easily and confidently share my ideas and thoughts in front of my authority.
One of the important takeaway from this, the conflict management.
Leadership card, third, mindset, relationship building.
A rich and diverse background of all 4 mentors is enriching.
Special highlight of this program is the last week get together as a team and work on a single project.
The important advantage from the leadership card, the personal interaction.
Best part about the program was they inspired us to take action.
Great session on how to make a vision board.
I highly recommend this course to the professionals of middle, junior and senior management.
Good evening to everyone joining us virtually as well as those who are in the room. My name is Kirandeep Sandhu, and I'm here once again on a Thursday night to lead tonight's card hour. Every Thursday, Leadership Card brings in Card Hour, which is a knowledge sharing session where one of our trainers comes with a topic to share with the community. The purpose of Leadership Card Hour is that the more we share, the more we learn, the more we grow. Sharing my screen. Leadership Card is the brainchild of 4 individuals: Kirandeep Sandhu, Ashish Tata, Ram Ramakrishnan, and Devesh Mon. Leadership Card started in July 2021, and over this period, we have trained over 1,500 individuals. All 4 of us come from diverse fields such as communication, finance, real estate, management, operations, sales, GSIs, and alliances. We're a very young team with over 100 years of experience. We have worked both within India as well as internationally. Today, I'm joining you from Malaysia, and hello. So a little bit about our trainers. I will introduce myself slightly later, but let me start off by introducing my partner, Ashish Tata. Ashish says that learn to lead yourself first, the rest is easy. Ashish is a CFO, a COO, a leadership coach, calls himself a self-leadership architect. He is a chartered accountant by profession, and he has over this period, worked with industries such as manufacturing, consulting, and now he is in the IT-based country. His areas of expertise are self-leadership, team dynamics, relationship management, and conflict management. Mr. Ram Ramakrishnan says that we all have the power to make impossible possible. Ram is a TEDx speaker, a CTA coach. He comes from service and transformation leadership. He has worked in the corporate world for over 34 years with Fortune 500 companies, and he's an author of 2 books. His areas of expertise are business transformation and personal transformation. He works on SWOT, priority management, networking, customer experience. And Devesh Mon, he says, tie your shoes and run towards your goals. Devesh comes from sales and alliance leadership. He's co-founder of the GBTC, Back to the Community Trust. He's a CTA coach. His experiences are in sales, business development, and alliances. He has over 2 decades of experience in leading and managing global teams, and he specializes in goal setting, personal transformation, sales, coaching, and partnerships. A little bit about myself, as I'm the speaker tonight. My name is Kirandeep Sandhu. I have over 2 decades of experience in academics, entrepreneurship, and coaching. I'm a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, and my areas of expertise are mindset, personality development using DISC, effective communication, personal branding coaching, TEDx coaching, and I'm also the founder of a trust called the Give Back to the Community, which is based out of Ayodhya. And we are currently supporting 107 children in bridging the educational gap through technological empowerment. I'm a TEDx speaker, along with a member of the Malta in Malaysia. So what is our conversation today? Well, we say, are you communicating in the right way? So today you're in this room, all joining us virtually, and you want to be asking yourself this question, that are you communicating in the right way? Well, John Powell says, communication works for those who work at it. So let me ask you in the chat box, are you communicating in the right way? Yes or no? If you are, tell me. If you think you are not, you can even type put it into the chat box, that are you communicating in the right way? Or what is the right way or the wrong way of communicating? We only communicate. It's the implications we find out later when we have burnt bridges, when there are lapses in communication, when we are not able to convey our thoughts and ideas and get actions to be committed by people who we are communicating. Let me share a few examples with you. I remember that when I joined joined my company, as a leadership as I joined Leadership Card as a managing partner, I realized that I used to be very upfront with my coaches and my mentors, and I would say, this is not right, or that's how the video should have been made, or that's not how the sentence should have been framed. I didn't realize that over a period of time, there were whispers that were going on, that she's quite a tyrant, the way she bulldozes her thoughts. I did not know that. I thought that I had the best interest of my mentees and my coaches, and hence I was being very direct and upfront with how they could improve themselves. Was that the right way? I should have communicated. Sending messages in the morning saying, nonsense, absolutely not acceptable. That's one incident of me communicating my thoughts. I also remember talking to one of my coaches today, and she said that I'm not able to communicate with my boss. And I said, what's the problem? Where is the communication gap? She said, I don't think that he trusts me. And I said, why did you think that? Why are you saying that he doesn't trust you? No, he's very egoistic. And I said, what is making you say these things about your boss? Where is the breakdown? She said, I am doing what he wants me to do. And every time when I leave the meeting, he comes back and says, I never said that. In spite of me making notes and sending emails to him after the meetings are over as the minutes of meetings. And when I asked him that I had written this in the email and communicated whatever had been covered, he responds, I have no time to read what you have written. And the second part is, I didn't say that. And she's like, it is possible once, it's possible twice, but I don't think he's lying. Maybe he's just too busy. Or is he too disorganized? So was there again a communication gap? And another example of this would be, I want a work done from my partners or my teachers. And I tell them that I want something done. And I leave it to them to complete it. When the job comes in, the work comes back to me, and I flare up. And I wonder, can't they even do this properly? Now, who's at fault? Them or me? Did I tell them what were the requirements? How did I want it to be framed? How did what were the expectations from the task at hand? We generally communicate our thoughts based on assumptions. We assume that the other person that is listening to us understands what we are saying. That's the first problem. Assumptions, where we have made an assumption that what is in my mind, my thought process, my definition of perfection is the same measure of the person who is trying to listen to me or has to deliver the task at hand. So assumption is the first problem in communication. If you want to be communicating effectively, you have to understand that what information does the person have? What information do I need to convey? What is the background of this particular project at hand, so that they can have all the relevant information and leave no space of assumptions, so that the communication part is starting on the right foot and not based on assumptions. Have you set the context? Have you given them the clarity? Have you told them what are your expectations? Or is it just a task that has been given with the assumption it will be done? First problem. The second one, where I shared with you the example of my coachee complaining or talking about an egoistic boss who is probably disorganized and was not understanding why things had been written, which he had never said. Getting emotional in that conversation, raising your voice, because we feel that when we raise our voice, when we are communicating, we are actually speaking more clearly. We are trying to exhibit our explanation. We are able to say that this is right and that is wrong and my position is correct. We allow our position to exhibit in the form of our power. And with our loud voice, we try to convey and communicate. Again, what have we done? The person who is supposed to be doing the job gets intimidated, is not able to ask you questions. And as a result, when there is no two-way communication and it just becomes one-way bombardment, there is no clarification involved, there is too much high emotions involved, and you are communicating one way without having the ears to listen, ask, understand. That communication has actually failed. So that was the second point which I was talking about, is number one, assumptions. Are you basing your communication on assumptions? Number two, are you handling your emotions when you are in the conversation. The third, communication barrier or problem or how we are communicating is, are you handling the noise that is around you? Now, when I say noise, our communication is impacted by the noise. And this noise can be both internal as well as external. Think for a second. You've walked into the meeting from another argument which happened in another room. Your mind is already boiling. There is so much clutter in your mind and you are in chaos. And you've entered the next meeting, and how do you think you will be communicating with the people? You have not given time to calm your internal noises. The second part is, when we are communicating, the external noise is around us. External noise could be people talking, people disturbing. We can't hear clearly what is being said. And as a result, the environment around us distorts the conversation, the communication that is taking place between two people. I remember recently in one of my sessions, the person in my, we were talking about personalities, and we were talking about what is your personality. For some reason, everyone in that room heard this person saying, I'm a very dominant person. And you're wondering, what does that mean? Why does she call herself very dominant? But actually, she had said something else which sounded like dominant. So if we had not asked for clarifications, we all would have left that meeting with a perception in our mind about what was this person's character. So when you have noises around you, it impacts your communication with the other person. It distorts the level of understanding that what people have. And as a result, you should be following the NBA principle. And what is the NBA principle when you have noises around you which are impacting your communication? M. M stands for move away from the sound. Move away from the sound that is distorting your communication. B, block the noise. Now that could be the internal clutter that you are going through or the external sounds that are happening. Block the sound so that you can focus, with focus, listen to what is being said. I'm sure that many times in your relationships, you might hear your spouse say, you're not listening to me. You're too distracted. You're always on the phone. That is something, that is the noise that is taking away that communication and distorting your understanding of the situation. In that case, follow the A. The A stands for accept. Accept the new noise. Sometimes we can't block it. My house is in renovation. Every day there is the noise of banging going on. Initially, I would get frustrated because that was impacting my communication with people. I couldn't hear them properly. I was getting irritated, and my irritation was reflecting in how I was delivering my content to other people. But I can't do anything about the noises that are out there. So hence, I can't move away from this house because it's under construction. I can't block it. So I'm wearing earplugs, but I can't block that sound. Now I have to accept it. Now that I have accepted that there is going to be drilling happening in this house, I can lower my expectations on what kind of communication I'll be having that day. Can I avoid those calls, those Zoom calls that I need to be having during those hours when there is major drilling happening in the house? Or can I be kinder and more patient with myself and other people and try to really listen to what they have to say? Because communication requires you to be listening. So whenever there's noise, follow the MBA. Move away, block the sound, or accept the sound. Now that was just to bring it back together, that are you communicating in the right way? We talked about, are you going into conversations with assumptions? Number one. Number two, are you going into the conversation emotionally charged? And that is impacting your communication because you are now talking to somebody and that is impacting your communication. Or are you going into that communication with noise around you? So these were some of the agents of miscommunication, where communication breaks down, where there are lapses in communication. So now you'll ask me that how can I communicate more effectively? How can I communicate more effectively? Well, as what John Maxwell says, that communication, everyone communicates, but few connect. Leaders spend between 75 to 90% of their time communicating. Their thoughts, their ideas, their visions, they're constantly communicating. But what is communication? Communication is between two people, an interaction, which is both verbal as well as non-verbal. So if you want to communicate effectively, you need to start connecting with people. And how can you build connect? Let me share 3 ways that you can connect with people so that you can be more effective in your communication. Number 1, connecting requires you to go beyond words. We've heard of the Moravian principle of nonverbal communication, when 93% of communication happens through our body language as well as our tonality. And only 7% of it happens through words. So how you communicate and how you connect with people has to go beyond your words. When somebody walks in, without even looking or speaking, you've given them a smile. You're already communicating with them that, yes, I'm open to this conversation. Thank you, Nanda, for smiling, because that shows me that we are communicating, that you are understanding what I'm saying. So that's just a symbol. Because in order to communicate, you need to connect with people, and connection is beyond words. Because in life, people don't remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. I was recently asked this question, that can you describe the characteristics or the qualities of good and bad leaders. And it was quite insightful for me that when I started doing that exercise, the top 2 people for both good and bad leaders turned out to be teachers that had impacted me as I was a school girl. The first leader or teacher who had impacted me had communicated to me through his actions, through his words, and how he made me feel that anything was possible. He made me believe in my potential. And because of that, when I was giving my exams and when my results came out and everybody thought that Kirindi Sandhu was going to be failing her 10th exam, I actually surprised everybody and passed. Because of this trust, because of the way my teacher had communicated his belief in me, had trusted me, shown me that it was possible, I was able to do that unbelievable. So on the other hand, I was asked, can you share an example of a bad leader? And it turned out to be also a teacher who had impacted me during my school days. And the word that came out was, that person made me feel worthless. And that's a very strong word, because if someone has made you feel worthless by the way they have communicated their thoughts and the way they have told you that you are worthless, maybe many times you don't even say it. Have you felt it when you are in the office place or in your home and someone actually makes you feel that you are worthless? They don't even have to say it. They've communicated it through their body language and their tonality that they do not deserve, or you do not deserve their attention. So communication goes beyond words. It goes by connecting. And in order to connect, you have to make people feel that they are important, that you are there to listen to what they are saying. Number 2. When you are communicating with people, and I talked about assumptions as one of the problems or flaws in communication was, when your communication starts on assumption, there's a lot of barriers. Now, if you want to reduce those blockages, communication gaps, you have to start on common ground. Starting on common ground means understanding from the other side by asking them the questions that, do you understand what the problem is? Do you understand what is required from this task? Do you understand that these are my expectations? You actually genuinely take interest in listening to them. What are their concerns? You actually want to know about that person. You want to ask them those common questions so that you can create a bridge. So once there is a bridge, you are able to communicate more effectively. And third, and the most powerful, is the 3S strategy. We've talked about the MBA for the noise. Now is the 3S strategy. When you are communicating, the first S is keep it simple. That means simple, S-I-M-P-L. Which also goes with the KISS principle, keep it short and simple. We think that by over-communicating, exaggerating, using flowery, ornamental words, we are impressing people. we don't realize that we are actually creating more confusion in the mind of the person. Beauty lies in simplicity. Number 2 is communicate slowly so that the other person can process the information that you are conveying to them, so that they can frame the questions, so that they can ask you about what they understand or don't understand. And the third S is when you're communicating, don't forget to bring your smile. Simple, slowly, smile. Powerful. Because your smile lets the other person know that you are open to this communication. So in life, when you are tomorrow going to the workplace, just think for a second. Am I overcomplicating my communication? Can I make it simple? Can I actually bring my smile so that people can feel comfortable to communicate? Am I having too many assumptions? And based on that, I have over expectations. Do I actually know them well enough to be able to communicate my thoughts and ideas? So communication is a skill that requires you to each day analyze yourself so that you can become a more effective communicator. Reduce your assumptions, have a check on your emotions, and lastly, keep the noise away using the MBA. To be more effective, the 3 pointers are: connect with the people that you're communicating by going beyond words. Number 2, establish a common ground between the two people, with the person that you're trying to communicate, so that there is a connect, that they know that you're genuinely interested. And lastly, follow the 3S principle of communicating. So this is what I wanted to share with all of you. I'm more than happy for the next 5 minutes to open the floor to answer any questions related to how can we communicate more effectively. Opening.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So my thought is the communication means is the English, is a grammar, proper grammar English. But what your thought now is completely different actually. So how to collaborate both together and so.
Okay, very good, Nanda, you've asked this question, because this is the biggest question that many people have, where when we say, though, I am communicating, and they are talking about English, grammar, nouns, we're talking about fluency. Actually, communication, what you are talking about is English language. Yeah. So I remember recently a client of mine asked me for a program. And they said, I want to learn English and I want to learn how to communicate. I said, do you realize that these are 2 different programs? English is a whole program on its own, which requires you to understand. Language is just the medium of communication. But communication is way more than just the spoken language. You could be, do you not communicate in your own mother tongue?
Yeah.
Right?
Correct. Yes.
We communicate in our, so why are we associating communication back to English and grammar and sentences? Okay. Communication is an interaction between 2 people. 2 two people who are sharing their thoughts and ideas, their visions. And this communication is two-way. If you want it, it should be two-way. And in order for it to be effective, you need to say, like what I talked about last week, have these communications to be hot. When I say hot, honest, open, and two-way. So that is communication, where there is two people interacting. In spite of the noise, in spite of the barriers, what I say based on my communication, you are taking action. If you are not able to take action, that communication is a failure. I could explain the same thing by Am I not communicating? I'm not using any language right now. But you have understood. I'm angry. I'm happy. I'm touched by something. Have you not understood what I have said?
Yes. Yeah, understood.
So this is communication versus the medium of communication. Could be Tamil, could be English, could be Chinese. That is the medium of communication, which is the language we utilize. But what is communication? Is words, symbols that are utilized, verbal as well as non-verbal, to communicate our thoughts and ideas to another person.
Got it.
Thank you, Nanda, for this question. If there are any more questions in the room, if not, I shall just briefly share with all of you a little bit about Leadership Card and how you can continue your journey with us. The Leadership Card, as I said, 1 second. All right, just a little brief about what is Leadership Card. We've talked about it. Every week on Thursdays, we have the knowledge sharing session, which is called the Card Hour. We are currently running our 7th batch of the Personal Transformation Program, where this is a flagship program which goes on for 8 weeks, which starts from leading yourself to leading organizations. So it's a full-fledged program that we have. We're also doing module-based programs. We have run 5 batches of Customer Excellence Program in Bangalore. We have done team building in Malaysia. We have also done, today another one is happening in Ranthambore. So we're constantly doing module-based trainings for our clients. We have a women leadership program where we work with women leaders, especially to break glass ceilings and climb slippery cliffs. This is a program because women empowerment is not only just a buzzword, it is a word that needs to help many more women reach the top of the mountain. And along with that, we have recently launched our online self-paced leadership program. We're more than encouraged to check out our website to find out how you can continue your journey of growth with us. With that, I would like to say thank you to all our viewers who have joined us virtually and everyone who is in-house for your time on this Thursday evening. Leadership Card Hour will be back next week on Thursdays at 7:45 till 8:30 with another leader sharing their thoughts. We will be more than happy for you to leave comments on what are the topics that you want to hear more about. With that, thank you very much. Good night.